St. Petersburg, Russia, city of royalty. Discover the Venice of the North. Water runs through the heart and history of St. Petersburg, Russia. Around 100 canals and rivers flow through the planned city, meaning that its citizens are never far from the water. Peter the Great, Russia's ruler from 1682 to 1725, established St. Petersburg on the Gulf of Finland and the Neva River. His dream was to build a capital city that would be a display of Russia's growing importance in the world. He succeeded, and though St. Petersburg is no longer Russia's capital, it is one of the world's most beautiful cities. The city abounds in rich cultural experiences with palaces, museums, and more. Here are 5 must-sees for every first-time visitor. The Bronze Horseman. This famous statue took over 12 years to complete and honors Peter the Great. State Hermitage Museum. With over 3 million items in 350 rooms, the Hermitage Museum is one of the world's largest museums. Mostly housed in the Winter Palace, it has a nearly unrivaled collection of art, ranging from European masterpieces to Asian treasures. The Hermitage Museum is not to be missed. Peterhof, Petrodvorets, Palace. A visit to Peterhof Palace is like being transported back to the time of the Russian emperors. Indeed, the palace was the official summer residence for Peter the Great. The famous emperor founded the palace in the early 1700s. Architects used Peter's designs to create a splendid complex consisting of several palaces and 3 parks. Later, Peter's daughter Elizabeth had the Grand Palace, park, and fountains expanded. Today, the lower park is a visitor favorite with its 150 fountains. Church of the Savior on the Spilled Blood. This brightly colored church with its onion domes and distinct architecture is one of St. Petersburg's most recognized landmarks. The church contains beautifully detailed mosaics created by famous artists of the time. A city cruise. One of the best ways to see the city is by water. Boat rides along the rivers and canals provide an opportunity to view famous bridges, magnificent cathedrals, imperial palaces, and more. No matter what form of transportation you use, a trip to St. Petersburg is one you'll never forget. Word bank. Canal. Tim's house is built on a canal that leads out to the ocean. Gulf. Florida's Gulf Coast beaches are known for their beautiful white sand. Bronze. It took 5 men to move the heavy bronze statue to a new place in town. Masterpiece. The artist wasn't famous while he was living, but today his paintings are considered masterpieces. Residence. Alexander spends a lot of time in New York, but his residence is in Taipei. Splendid. Elaine grew up in a tiny home, but now she lives in a splendid house. Architecture. This building's architecture dates back to the 1920s. Landmark. Paris's most famous landmark, the Eiffel Tower, can be seen from miles away. More information. Hermitage. Dome. Mosaic. Talk about it. When you visit a new city, what types of things do you like to see or do? Why? Why does the writer say that visiting Peterhof Palace is like being transported back to the time of the Russian emperors?